Over 2 days, we were given unique access to Craigavon Area Hospital in County Armagh, a designated COVID-19 response centre. Yesterday, we showed you what a day was like in the intensive care unit and the COVID high dependency ward. Today, we go everywhere else. In a matter of weeks, staff here completely reorganised their hospital, whole departments relocated. The point, to make sure the right people got to the right place with the right PPE. So just to give you a sense of the size of the logistics operation here, even before you get into the hospital proper, we have this donning section. There's red PPE donning on this part of the foyer here. You can see somebody putting on the full PPE gear. That's to go into sections of the hospital where there are COVID positive patients inside. On this side, the amber PPE, a less extensive level of PPE, and that's virtually for everywhere else in the hospital.
So this is a little bit quieter here, isn't it?
When it comes to reorganising the hospital, that's just the start. There are now 2 A&Es, or emergency departments, a respiratory and a non-respiratory one.
So this was a dermatology outpatient. Can we go behind here if you want?
This is the non-respiratory A&E. The numbers of patients presenting here are now down more than 50%.
Numbers are down, and numbers are down on some days to 30% activity. And we do
30% of what they would have been on a normal day pre-COVID.
On some days, yes, 30% pre-COVID.
Well, what do you put that down to?
Well, Northern Ireland has one of the highest rates of use of emergency department, and then some people are scared, and we are also concerned some people are delaying in coming to hospital with real symptoms that do need emergency attention.
Next stop, respiratory A&E for people with COVID-associated symptoms.
So has it been like this for a couple of days now, like with nobody in it?
It gets used intermittently. To see it empty is unsettling.
Over the last couple of weeks, the hospital has seen fewer COVID cases presenting. Northern Ireland's death rate from COVID-19 in hospitals is about half that of England, for example. One of the reasons the virus took hold in Northern Ireland a few weeks later than in England, at which point the lockdown was already in place.
Right, we're going down into the bowels of the hospital down here, into our receiving distribution area.
Personal protection equipment, PPE, for healthcare staff has dominated much of the debate. This hospital uses 54,000 pieces of PPE a day.
Oh, hello, people.
What keeps the consultant responsible for infectious disease control and PPE at the hospital awake at night?
I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. Nothing keeps me awake. I don't go to sleep. What we open up. So these are gloves. These are hats.
The way Dr. Sarah Hedwick and the team have reorganised the hospital, the so-called zoning and cohorting strategy, means that PPE waste is minimised. The approach means making it harder for staff to do riskier things and easier for them to do the safe thing. But the big question for staff remains, do they have enough PPE?
They do, yes, because I'm helping that to happen.
They do for today?
Yes.
Will they for next week?
I don't know.
But how close are you to running out of solutions?
Me? I'm never running out of solutions. I've got solutions.
You know what I mean, though?
No, I've got lots of solutions, and they will be acceptable for a smaller and smaller group of physicians.
It could end up being early days in terms of tackling COVID-19, but for now, Craigavon Area Hospital is doing more than just coping. After years of the healthcare service in Northern Ireland being on its knees, this part of it, at least according to the Trust, is standing up.
There had been a backdrop of no local government for 3 years, and the nursing strike, the pension taxation concerns, the threat of Brexit. We're a border area here, and I think that had been extremely challenging and demoralising for people. And I think what we've realised in the midst of all of this is that we've really found your sense of purpose, that actually, people will very often say, this is what I came into the NHS for.
At the COVID high dependency ward, reminders of what this is all actually about. Patients like Mr. Seawright have just been admitted.
You using the ventilator? Yeah. Do you find it easy?
No, but
Also, people like Mr. McComb, who after weeks in intensive care is recovering. And a reminder that healthcare staff are not the only ones rediscovering purpose.
So Mr. McCone came in about 3.5 weeks ago now?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
And you were COVID positive also,
Yeah.
and you ended up in the intensive care unit?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Was it touch and go for you for a bit?
It was, yeah. No, my wife was getting phone calls saying, look, this could go either way, has changed my outlook and my attitude on life. But it's going to be about family, and it's going to be about quality of life, for sure, 100%.
The way this hospital works, then, is not the only thing changing. The other great realignment, our idea of what's important and who's important.